Welcome, ancestors and friends and acquaintances who are still with us. I want to try and play a song, but it's one of those, you know, like last minute podcast vibes. So, not using proper equipment. So, it's probably going to get somewhat chopped up by the internet slash my computer. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoy the next, let's go 33 seconds. I call it Ode to Ancestor. You and I working across the ages, across the sages, oh my people, so intimately strange. Why am I wearing a suit? That's a great question for another time. Okay, so let's see, ancestors. So it's coming up to Samhain, um, in Ireland era, like Halloween, right? Which is the ancient Irish, the New Year or the day began at nighttime. Um, like so darkness, it was darkness and then light. That was it's kind of like how the maps used to be. South was at the top of the map back in the day in some places. It's kind of like, oh, why couldn't it be that way? Oh, it's just arbitrary. Interesting. Why do we drive on the left side of the road and others drive on the right? Interesting. Um, and so the day began at nightfall, and which is a bit like, maybe you think of the universe, blackness and then the light, or, being born, coming from darkness, and then returning to the darkness, or, the light, as the case may be. Nonetheless, so that was each day, and then also the year began in at winter. So Samhain was the beginning of winter. So it's like celebrating all of the success of the crops and that we have food and we're alive, and then preparing for the darkness, and so the beginning of a new year. Um, and they'd have these big bonfires, and all the druids would be there in the big white robes and doing God knows what, casting spells at each other, probably like some awesome action movie, I imagine. Um, so it was a time when they believed the film between this world and the other world, or the other dimensions that we can't see, was thin, and that you could commune and communicate with the dead. This is like all around the world. The cultures have this, the Day of the Dead. So Halloween came from Samhain in Ireland, because Scotland, Celtic culture, originally Irish. Settlers, the Scottish come from the Irish. Or one branch of the Irish, and so they would, believe they could talk to the ancestors and like the fairies, the Tuatha Dé Danann or whatever, and all kinds of goblins and who knows what, I don't know, but and so and I think there was an element of ancestor worship there, and as much as the fairies and whatever other spirits are out there, light and dark, especially the light. Oh, they're much more colorful. Um, the light has the rainbow. Darkness, what you got? Yeah, you're black. Every color can go black if you just, but, where's the fun in that? Can't see anything, Anyway, but black has got its place. Look at my suit. Um, so, and yeah, so, all these spirits, blessings to all beings. Um, and yet, ancestors. It's interesting to think, you know, we have the fact that we're alive means there's a continuous chain of successful humans who are successful enough as to pass on their genes. And think about how difficult history was, and prehistory, especially. Like, it's just incredible. And we go all the way back, our great grandparents were like fish, you know. It goes all the way back to God, you know, to the creation of the universe. No matter if you want to call God, you know, the universe or whatever. Like I'm not putting God's a loaded word, but it's a nice word, so I'm using it. But you know, that could mean 100 things to different people. But you know, the universe, consciousness, spirit, life, reality, and being. Okay, I'll stop. And so, but yeah, think of all those people who worked so hard and went through so much difficulty to get us here, and who probably like must of course enjoyed so much of the juice of life, the elixir, and the way they lived was probably in some ways similar to us. I guess we're the mixture of many different ancestors. So of course, the further back you go, maybe the less connection there is. But nonetheless, there's a connection, and their pains and pleasures, or their joys, and their sorrows, still resonate in us, and like literally in your DNA, in your genetics. There's epigenetics. You're affected by those, and as Rupert Sheldrake would say, morphogenetic fields. So, I think. And an interesting thing is I think about the future and the past, and I think about, my ancestors and my descendants as part of this meta family through time, not just through space and all the people I have, but through time, my family, and the yet to be born and the already dead and yet to be born again. And so I think for sure throughout time there would have been at least some members of my extended temporal family, a la my ancestors, who are also thinking about, oh yeah, the ancestors and the descendants, and and there's this kind of strange, beautiful community and communion and communication with when you just kind of appreciate that people got us here, and they went to a lot of effort to get to do that, and that for many of these people way back when, like just survival was so difficult, and so they treasured, they prized, passing on life to the next generation, and that they would be just so delighted that you were here. And so if you're going through hard times, think about your ancestors and what they went through, and how happy they would be that you're here, no matter what you're doing, just you're living, you're alive, how beautiful it is to be alive, and what a gift. And may we give that gift on to our descendants, to those who will call us ancestor. So thank you, ancestors. Garamila Mahagwiv, Garamila Mahagat. Thank you. And Ach Banacht, every blessing. So happy Samhain. How do you say that? You'd be like, Ihasavna Achas Arav, Achas Arat. Tusa. Okay. Enjoy.